Hello, everybody. Welcome back into another edition of our Senior Spotlight. I'm Ethan Spozarski again, and today I'm joined by another good friend of mine, a good senior we know up here, Mr. Spencer Frattare. Spencer, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Ethan. Thank you.
Oh, no problem, man. First, like I like to start every Senior Spotlight, and I think it's a fair question. Why Waynesburg, Spencer? Why did you choose Waynesburg? And I think for you, there's a little bit more to it than just a normal anyone else. I think that's fair.
Yeah, it's not going to be a generic answer. Obviously, everyone knows if you're here at Waynesburg that Lanny Frattare teaches here. He is my grandfather. He wasn't the full reason I came here. It was actually the sports announcing camp that you guys will get to experience as counselors next year. That when I went to that as a student, I knew I was probably going to go here anyways because of Lanny. But when I went to that sports announcing camp for 2-3 years in a row, I made some really good friends there. And while making those friends, I realized that I think this is what would happen with the kids here, and like it has, we've become family. I would call us all family on this floor. We all work together so much, and we're so close together that with that time that we're up here, we create a bond that it's like family. So when I went to those sports announcing camps, I knew that when I went to there that this was going to be the right place. Obviously, Lanny being my grandfather had a ploy into it, but at the end of the day, it was 50% Lanny and 50% those sports announcing camps.
So, to a sense, how much of an impact did he have, maybe before Waynesburg to set what you want to become a sports announcer? When did you realize, was it at that camp you were like 100%, I know I would love to be a sports announcer? Or is there a moment before Waynesburg, because having Lanny at home, that was maybe an influence that you had to what you wanted to do with your life?
Sparky, it was around high school where I realized this, and I knew about the stories of what he did, and when I used to go to a few games, but I was obviously way too young to even remember. I was on the field with him. I would sit in the press box with him, but it was around 10th grade when I love basketball, but I knew from a very young age that I wasn't going anywhere professional with it, as I think a lot of kids earlier than that realized, and maybe middle school, elementary school. For some reason, my stupid self still thought in high school that I had a career in playing basketball at the professional level, but I loved sports so much that I didn't want to give it up. I wanted to do something else with that, and I started talking to Lanny more and learned really more about what he did behind the scenes, and just hearing about the behind the scenes work of sports just kind of started a fire in me, and I was like, that's what I want to do, whether it's working camera, announcing. I tell people all the time. I love to announce, but I love working camera just as much. I'd go to 40 home games for the Cavs and work camera all 40 games for $10 an hour. That's how much I love working camera for NBA games or for any type of sports game. I'd love to do that. But yeah, the fire came from, realizing that, I wasn't really good enough to play sports at a high level, but I could, use my talents behind the scenes somewhere else.
So something else that affected you guys when you guys got to Waynesburg, so you commit to Waynesburg, but then immediately off the bat, COVID happens. The pandemic, everything shut down. It's a different style of living. And on top of that, becoming a freshman at college is a huge transition for anybody because you're on your own, you don't have your family. It's essentially, you are a good distance away from home. So I like to ask people, a lot of our seniors now, what was that like for you?
Yeah, it was a weird time. I don't think a lot of us knew what the school was going to do. Like, we of course got our emails, and we would hear what they were going to do. But the one good thing about Waynesburg is that, when my last 2 months of high school, we were all online. And I thought that was going to be the case when we came here, and thankfully it was not. We were all in person, which was not what I was expecting. My mom kept telling me every day that, this place is online. My best friend, Zach Kovac, he goes to Cincinnati. They were all online at the time. So it was a great feeling knowing that Waynesburg was willing to do in-person classes. And I think another person that helped me get over the freshman hump and with COVID is I got blessed with a great roommate, Logan Episcopo. We've been roommates for 4 years, and it'd be a sin not to mention him on the Senior Spotlight and what he's done in his 4 years here. But that freshman year, we got real close because of COVID. There wasn't a whole lot to do, and we were in the room a lot of the time. But with a great roommate and a school that allowed us to go to in-person classes, it was a great experience.
So overall, you mentioned experience. How was your experience here at Waynesburg, and what maybe is a favorite memory of yours?
Wow, there's a ton of memories. There's plenty I can mention. I think this year more have been made than any other year because of how much, as a senior, I've gotten to work on WOOS and announce on the Waynesburg University Sports Network. If I had to pick out a memory, I think it's going to sound cliche, but that Waynesburg basketball game where I think for the first time in 5 or 6 years, Waynesburg beat the rivals W&J. I was with Tyler Zeman on the call. It was one of the most fun calls I've ever had. Your team's down 10 at half. You lose your two of your best players 5 minutes into the game, and you think you're going to lose by 30, and somehow by some miracle Waynesburg turns out a win. And it was just such a fun game to announce. And the experience here is like no other. You're going to get right in right away. They tell you that. They tell all the incoming freshmen that. And you don't know if you're going to believe it or not. You say to yourself, am I really going to get on? And first week I was here, I was on radio. I was nervous as heck, but we got through it. And 4 years later, you're on TV announcing Waynesburg University sports. So the experiences here have been a joy. And if I had to give you a memory, it's the W&J loss that we gave them while playing basketball.
What maybe is something that you could tell your freshman self now that you're sitting here at this desk, senior year, 2.5 weeks, 2 weeks from graduation, what is something you would tell or give advice to your freshman self right now?
Some advice I'd give my freshman self is to, not really panic. There's been a lot of times freshman, sophomore year, even in my junior and senior years where I'd panic or stress or even worry. A lot of the peers around me had titles and I didn't my senior year, and I didn't know if people would still look at me the same way, still think of me the same way. I still wanted to be and help up here as much as I could. And again, with that comes into the family thing. Like I said, if I could tell my freshman self something, I'd be like, you know what, we were right. Like that, you're going to create a family up here, and you and so many others, even the incoming freshmen, I've created bonds with that. I plan to talk to you guys, and I hope you guys still call me as much as you want, and obviously not to annoy me like you guys do sometimes. But if I could tell my freshman self one thing, it'd be that you're going to make a family up here, and it's going to be a family that you're never going to lose.
That's very nice. Very nice. Final question for you. What's next for Spencer Frattare? What's the game plan as of right now?
Well, obviously, I'd love to announce somewhere, but I've been applying. I haven't heard anything back yet. I've applied at the University of North Carolina. I've applied for a few other jobs. Again, still setting things up. But I talked to a good man in West Virginia named Tony Caridi, a big name. He said, "Don't worry. If you graduate college, have a job. It's not a big deal." That's what he did. So that really calmed me down. I've been worried these past 2 or 3 weeks. I got to get a job. I got to find one now. I got to make sure I have something when I'm done. And he helped me realize that you don't need to have something as long as you're actively looking for one, which is what I am doing. As long as you're actively looking for one, it's not a big deal. So right now, nothing's set in stone, but soon we'll get one.
All righty. Well, congratulations, Spencer, on college. Congratulations on your future, and good luck as well. And we want to thank you all for tuning in to our another Senior Spotlight. We'll make sure you stay right here on WCTV's YouTube page for all our future Senior Spotlights and all of our past ones as well. Go check those out. But for Spencer Frattare, I'm Ethan Spozarski saying so long. We'll see you guys next time.
This has been a production of Waynesburg Community Television.